Hello and welcome. I am Enigmius, and this is episode 2 of my Minecraft Tekkit series. I hope you're enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying the hell out of the game. So today I'm going to finish recapping what I've done in the game world up to this point. And then starting with the next episode and moving forward, I'll be able to do all fresh commentary, a lot of which will be done actually as I'm playing the game, so it'll be a little bit more fluid and more directly relevant to what I'm doing, so look forward to that. I've also been doing a lot of tweaking on my end, both in the game and outside of the game, to try and address some of the visual quality issues that I had in the last episode, and you'll still see some of those in this one as well, because this footage was taken several days ago, but you'll also see as this video progresses that the improvements progress as well. So the next episode, keep an eye out for a substantial improvement in the visual quality. The only drawback is I won't be able to offer it in 1080p. I've downgraded it to 720p just so that things don't sort of lag out quite so bad, especially when I'm looking at things off in the distance. So today, like I said, we're just gonna recap what I've done in the world up to this point, and then I can dive back into the game and start having fun again with it, because I've been kind of putting it on hold so I don't end up with a backlog of footage. So the first thing that you're looking at here is me making a mess of my volcano. That's right, the volcano that was immediately in front of me when I first spawned into the game world. I wanted to do a bit of an experiment. Now, I could have looked into the wiki and done some reading on the fluid dynamics of lava, which is adequate. It's a very reasonable way to get information about the game, but I wanted to try it out for myself, and ideally what I was hoping was that if I were able to cap the lava at the top of the volcano without disrupting the spout in any way, I was hoping that it would pool and start creating source blocks that I could then harvest with energy cells and use as a renewable source of energy, because as you've seen up to this point, I do use a lot of geothermal generators in the early game. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. So basically all I accomplished was creating sort of like a torch on top of the mountain instead of a lava, and eventually, it took quite a while, but eventually the lava did stop flowing down the side of the mountain and it all went away. So the benefit to that is I can basically harvest all of the basalt cobblestone from the volcano itself without having to worry about ducking around the lava flowing down the sides, but also I managed to isolate the central column of lava moving up through the middle of the volcano. So I'm going to do some cool things with that. It may or may not involve a weapons testing facility. Starting next episode, you'll actually start to see hints of that if I don't get right down to it in its entirety. So look forward to that, but in the meantime, the volcano is what it is. If you're wondering what the hell's going on with that when I'm panning past it with the camera, that's exactly what I've done up to this point. Now, as far as the hive goes, one of the first things that I wanted to do was establish a safe path from the bunker, where I've been doing my mining operations in the video up to this point, to the hive itself. And I mean, it's Minecraft. I love building things in Minecraft, so it makes sense that I would do an above ground pathway that's lit, so that it's safe from mobs. I can go from the bunker to the hive and back anytime throughout the day without having to worry about dodging creepers and skeletons and all those other nasty things. So that's what I did. You'll be seeing a lot of that. I have plans for that in the future as well, but for the time being, it's just a pretty straightforward lit path between the two places. When it came to the hive itself, the central column is, if you're looking at the top down, it's sort of like an X shape. With the middle column, it has a ladder on every side. I don't even really know why I did that anymore. I'm sure you'll see footage between now and the time I revamp that area that show me getting screwed up going up and down the wrong ladders. So it seemed like a good idea at the time, but you know, looking back, I would probably not do that same thing again. But that's what it is. It's an X-shaped column running up through the middle of the hive. And then from there, I basically measured off the floors just so that I could take a look at it from the ground before I got too far with it and make sure that everything was coming together the way I wanted it to. I prefer to do it that way as opposed to getting 90% complete with something and wondering why things don't fit together properly. And I did the same thing to establish the shape of the dome at the top of the hive, the glass dome, because if you've worked with glass in Minecraft before, you know that once you've placed a glass block, if you're not happy with where it is, the only way to remove it is to destroy it. You can't just dig it up and pick it up and use it again like every other block. So that's why I came up with the idea of using dirt and cobblestone as sort of a template to shape the dome, and it is definitely something that I'll be doing in the future. Anytime I've got a fairly complex shape that I want to set up, I can use that as a template and then adjust cheap materials that are easy to adjust and move around and then build the final structure around it. So I'm actually pretty happy with the way it turned out. It actually looks like a rounded dome on the top. So that was kind of cool. And then I established my quarry, which was a little bit of fiddling. I'd never set up a quarry before, but I finally got it up and running. And it's been doing its thing ever since. One thing that I did notice is that I had read that it's a good idea when setting up a quarry to have a water source nearby so that if the quarry hits lava, it will convert the lava to cobblestone or obsidian and allow the quarry to keep digging through that area. If it just hits straight lava with nothing to convert it to another material, the quarry will go around it or stop. So I was pleased when I started up the quarry to notice that there was going to be a source of water inside the boundaries of the quarry. What I didn't realize was that the water source blocks would turn my quarry into an ocean. I don't know if I have any footage of it here, but I'll make sure to point it out in the next video. If I don't, the game actually now considers the area around my quarry to be coastline around an ocean. The sound effects actually change to seagulls when I'm down at the ground level beside my quarry, which I think is pretty cool. I've got squid swimming in my quarry now. And it's worth noting right now that I've actually converted the quarry from a geothermal generator powering it to remotely transferred solar power, which was, again, a bit of a trick. I'm sort of at the edge of my learning curve right now. There are a lot of things that I'm doing that I haven't done in the game before, so it's a lot of fun to get something figured out that you've been working at for an hour or so, trying to figure out how to make it work. But now the quarry is run fully sustainably off solar power, which I think is very, very cool. And that means that all of the cobblestone and sand and sandstone that I'm sending to my energy condenser to convert into lava cells is powering my machines, like my macerator and my furnace. So far I'm doing fairly well in the energy side of things, but I do need to get a lot more solar arrays in place because the ultimate goal is to be running 4 quarries off of the hive and also be running all of my machines off solar power. So there's definitely a lot of work to be done there, but I'll be chipping away at that as I have an opportunity to do that. So the hive is going fairly well. I need to sort out the way that I'm sending materials around. Like I said, the pipes are just not working for me, so I'm going to be setting up remote transfer and then just using the hive to sort it and decide from there exactly what I want to do with it. So in the long term, I'm looking at getting the hive set up properly so that a lot of my material needs are basically taken care of, and when I want to make something, I can just go pick up the materials that I need and start assembling without having to worry about sourcing a bunch of stuff. I still like going underground and mining. In fact, I've been doing a lot of mining for copper lately, trying to get the solar arrays up to the point where they could power the quarry, because solar arrays use a lot of freaking copper. So that's what I've been doing, is I let the quarry do its thing, and then I'll go back to my bunker and go down into my mine and try and track down some copper. But there's also those times when I kind of wish that I just had the materials on hand so I can make what I need and then get back to doing what I'd like to be doing. So the volcano, as I get an opportunity, once I get the hive a little bit more squared away, will be eventually converted into my weapons test facility. I'll go into more detail on that a little bit later, and then I'll be looking at doing probably some sort of structure between the hive and the volcano, because one of the things that you'll probably notice, maybe not in this video, but in the next ones, is I've reduced the viewing distance a little bit just to prevent the lost frames and the issues with the visual quality. And that's kind of unfortunate because the hive, I think, looks all right. There's some things I would do differently if I was doing it all over, but for now I'm mostly happy with it. The volcano will probably end up looking fairly cool, but with the reduction in the viewing distance when I'm just bombing around doing whatever, you can't really see them. So I actually want to have something in between so that I can look over this way, there's the hive, that's cool. I can look over there, there's the volcano, that's cool. So that's going to be that. And then eventually, as far as my thought processes immediately go, we're going to start setting up quarries in the nether. So that should be tons of fun, lots of explosions, lots of crazy things going on there. So I hope you're looking forward to that as much as I am. Like I say, I wanted this one to be fairly quick, fairly short, just blast through this so that the next video is much more smooth, a lot more flowing nature to it. And if you know people who like the Minecraft videos and want to let them know about this series, that would be awesome. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do feel welcome to subscribe so that you're notified when I add new videos. So I hope you've been enjoying it, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.